Hi and welcome back. If you are returning, I'm so happy you're here. And if you're new, I'm also so happy that you're here and tuning in. We discuss everything planty here. Well, primarily Aroid specific, I would say, as that's where my experience lies. However, it is pretty similar, I'm guessing, throughout. Once you have a garden, you're going to be troubleshooting, and that's what we do here. So thank you for joining us. And in this video, it's going to be a shop with me style video. It's my first one, I believe, and I do have a haul, but I figure I do things a little differently. Once I leave a shop, I'll show you guys what I got and how I used it, and we could sort of just get the discussion rolling one time. I'd be so happy to hear any feedback you guys have on the products, or if you've used it, or if you have a better solution. I really do look forward to conversing with you guys. Everything I'll link in the description as usual, so buckle in, it's going to be fun. I forgot to mention that I got new plants as well, so I'll feature them in this video. I'm so excited because they were on my wish list, so we have a bunch to talk about and a bunch to see. We're going to start at Utopia Gardens. The nice thing about shopping from them is that I could just message them on Instagram with a supplies list. And by the time I get to the shop, they have everything ready for me. So it's like a grab and go service, which I love. This is their premium Aroid mix. It's $65 a bag or $69 a bag, I believe. I swear by this mix. I have no amending to do. And I got 2 bags in it. I also picked up a bag of orchid mix. I use that interchangeably with the Orchiada fine grade bark when I do decide to amend the soil for my anthuriums. And this, I believe, was $60. I lost my bill, to be honest, but you can always message them just to confirm the pricing. But this is just off the top of my head. This is what the mix looks like. It's very chunky, and I just store it in that container. I also got this bag of sphagnum moss for $25 and 2 cocoa poles for $45 each. And then I had a custom order for this moss plank. It was $35 for 1 foot, and this was a 3 foot plank. And I also got a bag of leca that is missing from this photo, but I got a bag of leca for $20 also. It was only after I started filming this video I remembered where the bag of lacquer went. It was opened for my previous video where I explained how to set alocasia corms using lacquer. That's just my medium of choice, where you place the corm above the lacquer and I use a prop box to sprout them at first. And once they sprout, I place them in a no drainage clear vessel where I could see the root zone clearly. And I place water into the vessel just below the root zone, and the lacquer, being a clay ball, wicks the water upward. And that's how the plant gets hydrated. For y'all who live in the West, I was able to also find lacquer at Peaks. They had a finer grade pebble, which I'm curious to try. These were $12.50 a bag. If I didn't already have, I would have taken one for sure. This is the size of it. It's a pretty good size. Then I stumbled across this grow tower that was super interesting. It was about 6 to 7 feet tall. Each one of these black mesh pots could potentially hold one plant. So it's super space saving. It was 26, 34, 24. Potentially, this is what the system could look like. I was hoping to find more information on their website, but sadly, they didn't have it up. But in case you didn't know if they have a website, well, they do. Next, I hopped over to PriceSmart. I found that 3-tier trolley, some outdoor soil, and that fan. You can find all of them on their website. I'm going to get some additional information for you guys here on the trolley cart that I referred to first. This one was available that I loved. The entire thing is perforated, so water can drain freely. It was about 240. This is the outdoor soil that I actually bought, and I did some landscaping work that I will feature shortly using it. It worked really well. I thought it was a great price for £50. And lastly, they had this electric fan that I'm curious about in terms of if I do decide to get a grow tent to add extra ventilation. So I used the soil from PriceMart to set these variegated bamboo plants into the ground to try and grow a hedge over time. They are spaced about 5 feet apart, and this is 2 months after planting them. They are doing pretty good. The soil worked well, in my opinion, and I would definitely recommend it for outdoor use. Also, the trolley cart that I currently have is much smaller than the one at PriceMart, so I am thinking to upgrade. I love having one of these to store outdoor tools for portability. For y'all who live in Central, I frequent Fair and Square for affordable tools, and let me tell you, my favorite purchase from them recently is this hose attachment. Now, I paid $50 for the one I have, and I was able to find this one for $40. My favorite setting on it is the shower setting. This is how I use it. Now, don't mind mine looking real beat up and grimy now. That's just to tell you how much I use it. But it saves me so much time and it does so much work for me in that it washes down my leaves exactly how I would want them to be cleaned so that they stay pest free for longer. I can clean my leaves so much easier. It is just so convenient and handy in this hobby. My absolute favorite products from them, though, is firstly this cloche, which I use as a humidity dome. It's $65 for it. And secondly, their container collection is why I keep coming back here as well. They have a wide assortment of containers with clear lids. The clear lid is really a winner for me, or a top feature that I look for, especially if I'm going to use it for propagating or just anthurium germination particularly. This one has wheels on the bottom, which I thought was super convenient, and they have such a wide variety of sizes. This little one is $35, and believe it or not, I bought like the exact same thing, well, almost the exact same thing for $46. This is how I use that smaller container. I germinated some anthurium seeds in there. I love that the lid is clear so light can get through easily. You can see the condensation on it as well, that ensures a high enough humidity. This is the one that I mentioned. That was $46, 45.95. I got that from excellent stores. So there you go. Fair and Square has a cheaper version available if you're interested in getting that size. These are just all the different types that they have. This large one was, if I could, 199. It's a pretty large bin, and it's a good brand too. After Fair and Square, I went to Super Farm, and in their craft section, I found some pointy tipped dowels. They were about, I would say, 3.5 feet long, or 4 feet even. I love using them as stakes. It was like a pack of 10 for $14, and they also had the smaller 10-inch bamboo skewers. I found these cute little pots for $22 each. This is how I use the bamboo skewer. I just use it to support smaller plants, just to secure it before I put it on a pole, and I just use a clip to attach the plant to it. This gives the plant sufficient support until I get it on a pole. I picked up a pack of the long dowels, and I just had this lazy man approach to extending my plank for my mandula pothos, so I just inserted the dowel just to show you how sometimes when I don't have time, I kind of have to come up with a solution on the fly. So I just lodge it into the plank and attach the plant itself using clips to the pole. This is where I lodged it in the plank, so I kind of just take it down about 5 inches. And this one, I know it's looking like a hot mess now. It is severely dehydrated. I missed the watering with this, but I just use it as a stake just to keep it upright because I find it sort of flops over as it grows. So I just basically used it as a stake here. And I did the same for my floppy asparagus fern. It is totally toppled over, and here it is staked and upright again using the same dowel and clip method. I also popped in at Grow Right. This has been one of my go-to spots since I would say from the beginning of the hobby. They are well known for all things planty, from pots, accessories, watering cans, fertilizers, pesticides, you name it, they have it. So I always mention their humidity dome or propagation dome. Here it is. These parts, the lid and the tray, are sold separately if you want to just have them separate. Or like in my case, my tray broke, so I actually came to get a new one. And as you could see, I walked away with 2 bags of other stuff. This is the tray I mentioned before that I needed to replace. And I got a bunch of different sized pots. This spot Grow Right to me is just the best spot for pots. Their price points are unbeatable in my opinion, and if you mention my name Candy in store, they will give you 10% off as well. I also needed a bag of cacti and succulent mix. That's because my large ghost cactus fell and a bunch of pieces broke off that I couldn't just throw away. They're just too gorgeous to dump. So I'm trying to propagate them in water. And once that is successful, I'll go ahead and try that mix to hopefully grow them out in. These are just some of my props. This is the Amplyssimum Silver. Some of the props that are well overdue for potting up. This is my Syngonium batik that is also beyond ready to be potted, so I had to get a bunch of pots to get those going. And finally, here comes the most anticipated part of the video, I'm sure. I recently acquired a couple more plants from Mamison. If you watched my wish list video, you would know that I wanted an Anthurium Michel. But Nell from Mamison was able to source an Anthurium Zara by Michel for me, of which I did not blink to say, yes, I want one. It is still mesmerizing me even while I'm going through this footage. It is a lot more shimmery than I thought, and it is just as dark as the Zara. This is my Anthurium Zara that I got from Greenbed a couple of years ago. It is quite mature, and as you can see, it is just massive and dark and gorgeous. Another that she was able to get for me that was on that same wish list was this Anthurium luxurians platinum. It is just as you see it here in this footage, silvery grayish blue and bumpy just like the regular luxurians. It already has a new leaf coming, and trust me, seeing it in real and even looking back at this footage, I am still in awe. And last but not least was this Anthurium veitchii narrow form. I was never a fan of the VGI, well, the regular form, but the narrow form definitely caught my attention. It is super glossy. I didn't expect that. And it already has another leaf on the way. These plants were well acclimated and in such great condition. I will definitely recommend her. And that wraps up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I look forward to chatting with you all in my DMs on Instagram. Please like and subscribe if you have not already done so. I really, really appreciate it. If you have stuck around till this point, please know that I am truly grateful. I will post updates, I think, in my next video. Let me know what y'all want to see next, but I'm thinking to do an updates video on all the new plants that I have gotten over the last couple months. Thanks again, and see you next week.